In this video, we're going to be covering Für Elise by Beethoven, which is one of the most well-known classical piano songs of all time, so it's a great one for you to learn. We're not going to go over every note and rhythm in the song, but you're going to be able to follow what I'm doing visually, and I'm going to give you some common errors that I see that need to be fixed if I'm working with a student one-on-one. And if you don't have a private teacher, then this is what I'm doing for you in this video, is trying to give you, like I said, the common things that I see students have problems with in this song. So first of all, let's look at the top where, now I'm just going to stick a metronome on, I'm just going to say 120. You can pick whatever speed you want, but I have 120. And so if you notice, if you look at the sheet music, you're going to see pretty much non-stop 16th notes, which means whatever I set my metronome to, maybe I'll go down to 100. Whatever I set my number to, then that's pretty much the speed of every note in the song. And I'm just reading what's on the page. Just have a steady stream of notes going by. Okay, so of course we went right into the first two lines of the song and we didn't talk about the notes at all. Well, at the beginning we have E, D sharp, E, D sharp, E, B, D, C, A. And if you have no understanding of how to read the sheet music, of course you're going to need that to get started. Otherwise, you're just going to be following what my hands do and maybe slowing down this video on YouTube, which you can do. And that's fine too if that's the only option you have right now. And maybe you have some questions on how you can learn the theory to read the treble clef and the bass clef, the two lines that we're looking at. We can talk about that later, so you can just leave me a comment and subscribe, all that kind of stuff, so we can make a connection and then I can give you whatever free assistance possible. Okay, so another thing about this song is everyone wants to learn both hands together because it's not too terribly hard to start doing it, but if you want to really learn the song well and know it well, then I would recommend just doing one hand at a time. That way you can just focus on what each hand is doing. And you want to make sure you're using the correct fingerings that are in the sheet music as much as possible, because that's what's going to help you make it, nice and smooth. When we speed it up, is the correct fingerings are what makes that possible. Okay, so let's talk about the left hand. To work on just the left hand, so we have 5, 2, 1 at the beginning. 5, 2, 1, A, E, A. And then the next three notes are 5, 1, 2. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, on both of our hands we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finger numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Or if we put them together like this, they'd be the same. Thumbs are 1 and pinkies are 5. And so if you're looking at the top line of the music, that's going to be the right hand, and you see where it starts with 4, I'm starting with my fourth finger. And they just don't give you all the numbers because they're assuming, well, naturally, if I'm playing a D sharp, it's going to be my 3. So they just tell you the first number, and now we have 4, 3, 4, 3, and they tell you to go to 5 here, 2, 4, 2, 1. So they don't give you every finger number in the sheet music. They give you the ones that you really need to make sure you're on the right track. So let's go back to the left hand again on the first line. A, E, A, and then E, E, G sharp. You see this one, we go 5, 1, and then we cross over to the second finger for a G sharp, and then we do another 5, 2, 1, just like the first time. So we got this, go down to the E, and then back to the A. So you may want to pay attention to what the low notes are. It's A, E, and then back to A. A, E, A. So that pretty much covers the first two lines, other than obviously working out all of those notes in the right hand, which you really just got to go one by one and one note at a time or one measure at a time. You have to break it up into as small chunk as possible. So when you're first learning it, you may just want to do this. And make sure that, because those two notes play at the same time, you may want to just play that over and over again until you get really comfortable. That's called the looping method, or that's what I've always called it, where you just go over one part at a time, or maybe we work on one measure in the sheet music, not on the keyboard, but on the sheet music that I'm looking at. So, and then maybe we want to go the next measure. Right? Or just loop those 6 notes, and well, that's the third full measure, or second full measure I should say, where the left hand starts, and then maybe do the next measure. So I know I'm going fast, but I'm trying to point out, you know, these are the things, once you loop one measure at a time, and it's like a puzzle, then you can put it all together, and once you've done enough repetitions on one measure at a time, you can go on to the next part and put it all together. Okay, so the end of the second line, we have the second ending. So that's after we've played the first 2 lines twice now. And then we go on, see, starting with our second finger. So did you see the pattern there? There's a pattern there, so you don't really need to memorize or name all these notes. You can just, once you find this B where your second finger starts, then we have this pattern that does the same thing. Like that, and then it shifts down. Like that, and then it shifts down. There's no black keys in here, we don't need to worry about that. So that's the pattern. So your hand maybe has to stretch a little bit depending on how big your hand is, but that's the pattern. So once you find your starting note, the rest, you can pretty much just see my thumb keeps moving down, and then of course these 3 fingers keep moving down. So that's the pattern. And then of course we have the left hand that comes in. And we have another one of these patterns. Here we're going to go, this is the beginning of the third line, C, G, C, and then it goes down to a G, G, B, or 5, 1, 2, just like that first line kind of was, but different notes. And then it goes back to A, E, A. Okay, so if we put that all together, and again, you're going to want to loop those, you know, until you can do it without thinking. You need to go over those repetitions over and over. And then once you've done both hands separately, and you've done the repetitions in each hand, then we can put this next line together. Which brings us to this spot. Okay, so the next measure and a half here, this is where you see and hear that part, right? Well, the easiest thing about this is we're playing all E's. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 octaves of E's. So once you know that, then the notes on the page get a whole lot simpler. So after we do this last one, that's where we hit the low E. Now you see we do 3 octaves of E's in a row in the left hand, and it's 5, 5, 1. So that's the first one that everybody needs to spend a lot of time on that, because our 5th finger is going like this, 5, 5. So we got 5, 5, 1. So practice that as many times as you need to. Now after that third note in the E, oops, after that third note, our right hand is going to play the same note and then do an E octave above that. So now our first 5 notes in that series are 5, 5, 1, 1, 5. So now we need to do that a few times until we get used to that. We have this tag team going on with our hands. Keep doing that until you got it. And then there's only 2 more of these E's to put it all together. Our right hand did one of those. Now it's going to jump up an octave and do it again. Oops, sorry, I left out one. So after our right hand does one of these, our left hand is going to come up and do the same notes. So let's go over those. And remember, these are all the same speed because they're all 16th notes. Now after we've done that, it's the very last 2. So if I put that all together, we got 5, 5, 1, 1, 5, 5, 1, 1, 5. It's nothing but E's all the way through that. So it basically gives you all those fingerings in there, or at least the important ones again, but that's what we're going for. So that part is both easy, but it takes a little bit of practice because we're moving, jumping up the piano, but it's all E's. And then right after that high note, right here we're going to do, the melody is like the beginning, except this time we're starting on D sharps, so it just has a slightly different feel. It kind of has an up feel now instead of the beginning when we started with E. You know, it's going back and forth. It's starting in the up position. So the reason why it's written the way it is on the page is because our left hand does it, and then our right hand, our left hand, and then our right hand takes over and finishes it. So we got left, right, takes over. And then we're just back to the beginning all over again. So once you've gotten up to that point in the sheet music and you're in the, the 4th line of the song, then that's pretty much the whole page, and that's the whole main melody of the song, which is great because the first page is the main part that everyone knows and recognizes. So if nothing else, and you just learn the first page of the song, you've done great, and you have something that you could perform for friends or family, and they would enjoy. So I think that's all we're going to cover for this song today in this video. But like I said, if there's interest and you'd like to hear more about either this page or the 2nd or 3rd page, then there will probably be more videos that I'll put out later on.